Go for a walk, you see your flower, you think, oh, that would be nice, and then you give it to your partner.
Okay.
Bare minimum. It's like brushing your teeth.
So glad. It's like brushing your teeth.
You see the absolute worst dates, or you hear about them and that content goes viral, or you get the best relationship content or dating content and that goes viral.
I think it's problematic that people are now normalizing the use of social media as a tool to brag about their own partners.
And it's like, oh, God forbid, we have some standards. Do you know what I mean?
We're so used to social media being so curated. Everyone's a content maker. Everyone's trying to sell themselves or sell their relationship or have a hot take or have an opinion. And I think people are getting exhausted by that. Hi, I'm Dee Solomon and I'm addicted to bleaching my eyebrows.
Hi, I'm Pip Rasmussen and I am anti-princess treatment, but lately I have been getting flowers and I might be changing my mind on that.
Excuse me?
I know. I'm so like, don't open the car door for me. Don't do all that kind of shit.
No, my excuse me is,
oh,
that's not princess treatment.
Oh, you don't think flowers is princess treatment?
That's bare minimum.
Oh,
sorry.
My
Flowers?
God. This is
bare
classic
minimum.
you. This is classic.
I get them every week.
You would.
It's not a princess treatment.
You are a princess though. That's why it is princess treatment.
But it's not princess treatment. That's bare minimum. Sorry.
Well,
and I'd be giving flowers every week.
Oh, you giving too?
Oh my God. The other day,
yeah,
I went for a walk and I picked a flower out of someone's garden. I know, naughty, it's so bad, blah, blah, blah. And then I came home and I was like, babe, I got you a flower. And he was standing there with a bunch of sunflowers that he bought. And I was like, well, now my flower that was meant to be special, that I had this one flower from the side of the fucking street, looks so shit.
Wow.
It is really bad. But anyway, that's
tried.
just a bare minimum. You go for a walk, you see your flower, you think, oh, that would be nice. And then you give it to your partner.
Okay.
Bare minimum. It's like brushing your teeth.
So glad. It's like brushing your teeth. Giving flowers is like brushing your teeth.
Yes, you heard it.
Wow. Well, look, I'm so glad that you've brought this up. I feel like this is something we absolutely need to debate in this episode. If you clicked on it, we're talking about social media and how it may or may not have cooked our expectations of dating. Like princess treatment and bare minimum, something that's like constantly going viral at the moment. Also, have you been seeing May This Love Find Me?
Constantly. Like every time I get a video in my feed of someone being like, my partner did this amazing thing, blah, blah, blah. And then people are in the comments being like, oh, may this love find me.
Yes.
Or may this love never find me. When it's a really bad story.
Exactly.
I fucking love it. I think it's so funny.
Yeah. So in this episode, we are going to look at all these trends and figure out whether or not social media is actually like helping us raise the bar in terms of like what we should be demanding from partners and having as like a bare minimum like
or
treatment.
Like changing your expectations, right? Like for the worse or for the better.
Yes.
All right.
Get into
Let's get into it.
Woo. I think it's pretty safe to say that a lot of us really love dating content and it goes super viral and it's in our feeds all the time. And there was a stat actually from the 2025 annual report from Bumble saying that almost half of Aussie singles admit to enjoying authentic dating and relationship content online.
Well, that's what I find interesting is the authentic part, right? Which is something that we're going to unpack. But I find that with social media, I would argue that none of it's really that authentic.
Yeah.
And the algorithms actually work by prioritizing content that's polarizing. So you see the absolute worst dates, or you hear about them and that content goes viral, or you get the best relationship content or dating content and that goes viral. And so it's hard when we hear that word authentic, because I would argue that none of it is actually authentic or an actual true representation of what people's love lives are actually like.
100%. You're never in the mundane in between day-to-day life. It is the most dramatic thing that you've ever seen, and that's going viral. We asked you on our Instagram at Triple J The Hookup, if you're not already following us, what the hell are you doing? We asked, do you feel like social media has impacted your expectations of dating? So 71% of you said yes, which is a huge amount. So do you feel like you're in that 71% of people? Do you feel like it's impacted your expectations?
Yeah. I feel like the content that talks about really bad dating does automatically make me go, the world is fucked. There's no hope. No one's putting in effort anymore. Dating sucks. Like, please, I don't want to ever be single again. I get that kind of reaction. And then I will be honest and say that when I see the like may this love find me loving loudly content, I do go a bit like, oh, well, I wasn't loved loudly today. Do you know what I mean? Like it does make you go like,
Yeah.
well, where's my special thing that, you know?
Yeah. That's really interesting. I feel like for me, it puts ideas in my head that weren't previously there. So what I mean by that is like I will see a video where someone was like telling a story time and they're like, come with me while I tell you about the worst date where this person ghosted me and then this happened and da-da-da-da-da. And I feel like because we're such online citizens now that it's like you get exposed to things that would never necessarily happen to you or cross your mind. So then I sort of become this like sheep in the comments being like, yeah, that was so bad and like that person shouldn't have done that and da-da-da. So I think it's really shaping my ideas of like ethics, rights and wrongs. I mean, like...
Well, it's like helping you form like when you hear
Yeah.
a story, you'll go, okay, this is how I feel about this.
Yeah.
So therefore, like if this ever happened to me,
You form an opinion.
you form an opinion about it.
Yeah, so I try pretty hard to like try not to jump on the bandwagon and like we're going to get into with this princess treatment thing. I was like resisting it for a really long time, but we'll get there in a sec.
Well, let's unpack some of these main trends that we are seeing on socials. The first one being, may this love find me.
The one that you said that you feel quite strongly about.
Yeah. Well, I just go like, I don't know. I just think I think when people tell these stories, it really sets you up to what else you're supposed to do but compare. Like it does set you to be like, well, my partner doesn't do this thing. So does that mean that they love me less than this person's partner?
Exactly.
You know?
Well, this was the one that we first saw and we were like, oh, okay, this is maybe a favorite version of this may this love find me trend. This is the video.
If he wanted to, he would. I don't like that. I don't like that phrase, or I haven't liked that phrase. My problem is my husband would. He would every time, and he does. If you watched my last video about this, I talked about, so I asked for a spray tan subscription for Christmas. My husband said, bet. He went and found a certification, like an online class certification course. He took the class, got the certification. He has a certificate and everything. He bought the kit, and I now have a like spray tan tent in my home that he can put up and take down. And he does it. He knows the formulas, and he sprays me anytime that I want. Anytime that I want, I'm like, hey, can I have an appointment? And he spray tans me every time. Spray tanning makes me feel really good, and he knows that.
See?
Really sweet.
Isn't that cute? And everyone was flooding the comments when this trend sort of started, and they were like manifesting. They were like, may this love, may a partner who does this for me find me, because that's how they want it. And then everyone kind of jumped on board, and there was like way more of this like romanticizing of like partners. And this is a good thing, right? Like I think it's kind of nice to share like, oh, this nice thing that my partner does. But like that's like an above and beyond. Like to get a certificate to learn how to tan and set up a tanning tent in your house.
Yeah. I
You know?
as well appreciate the may this love find me trend, because I think it is raising the bar for the better.
Yeah.
Like I think it's really nice for people to hear these stories.
Yes.
And set an expectation of just like, wow, I actually can be loved this much by someone, that they would go to this much trouble and effort to do something, knowing that it'll make me feel really loved.
And it's a kind of a nice circuit breaker because we're getting so much bad dating story. So it's kind of nice to see a trend that is wholesome like this to pop up and like kind of filter my feed a little bit more.
And if it makes you reflect on your relationship, right? Like say you're with someone and you've asked them, hey, like, can you spray tan me or can you do this thing? And they're like, fuck off, no. Like seeing this content would make you reflect on your relationship and maybe hopefully come to the realization that like you deserve better.
Yeah. Another trend that obviously we mentioned before but we were seeing is this kind of like loving loudly trend, which I think in a nutshell is like people being like, I'm sick of nonchalant partners. I want someone who is invested, who gives a fuck.
Who screams from the rooftop that they're obsessed with me, that they love me.
Yeah, people want real commitment, and that's what they've sort of been posting about online. So this loving loudly trend looks a little bit like this. I no longer enjoy the bare minimum. I want to be loved loudly, take pictures randomly and show me off, be my biggest fan, bring me flowers for no reason or occasion, tell your friends and family about me. I'm done with all that nonchalant shit.
I think it's such a strong reaction to dating app culture. I think that like dating apps have made everyone feel so disposable. No one's putting in effort anymore. Everyone's getting ghosted or breadcrumbed, and like the romanticness of like dating is completely gone. We've spoken about this on the hookup before about how we're in a post-romantic era. And I think that this is a reaction to that, right? And I kind of love it. I think it's like people putting their fucking foot down and they're being like, nah, do you know what? I'd rather this or nothing.
Yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying. But on the other hand, like we do know that social media is so manufactured. It's inauthentic and people are buying into that fantasy now. So it's almost like, are we setting ourselves up for failure a little bit by like ingesting all this romantic content and social media content and then getting completely disillusioned with dating? Probably.
Well, I feel like that's what proposals are online. I feel like now we live in a world where so many people film their proposals and act like they're so surprised and it came out of nowhere and they're crying and they're like, oh my God, my best friend, blah, 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 like my soulmate. But then I know for a fact that they've like been asking and pressuring that partner to ask them to get married for like years on end and like have gotten to the point where they've like bought the ring themselves.
I mean, yeah.
So it's, to me, I'm like, that's manufactured and you are publishing this thing on socials. You're posting this thing on socials to be like, look how amazing and lucky I am. I'm like going to marry my soulmate. And I was so surprised and this came out of nowhere. It's like, no, it didn't.
And who is it for at that point?
It's for everyone else.
I mean, it's
for everyone else.
It's for likes. It's for retweets. It's shares. It's comments. It's engagement.
Yeah.
It's like it's not a beautiful personal thing for you and your partner at that point.
It's for you to feel good about your relationship because of how you've published it online.
Yeah, it's extremely performative. And you know what RuPaul said? We're all born naked and the rest is drag. We're all just performing constantly. And now social media has like turned that dial up to like 120. It is wild out there. All right, so another trend that we have been noticing and we've mentioned a bunch already, princess treatment or bare minimum. Now, this is something that people have been doing on TikTok and it's almost like this game that they put their partner through. This is what it looks like.
Okay, bare minimum or princess treatment. Okay. Filling up and paying for my gas.
Princess treatment.
Bare minimum.
Trying to fail me?
Carrying my bags at the airport, bare minimum or princess treatment?
Hold on. I want to say princess treatment, but it's bare minimum.
Bare minimum,
okay.
That's right, yeah. Buying me a Birkin.
Princess treatment.
That's princess treatment.
Right. Paying for a parking ticket. Like my parking ticket.
Princess treatment.
No, why are you thinking about that?
That's not...
If anything, we should be splitting 50.
I'm sorry. She's insane for that. She literally says how she's like, but we should be splitting it.
Sorry, but that is not princess treatment. That is not princess treatment.
Are you kidding me?
I wouldn't say it's bare minimum as someone who has at least 20 parking fines just waiting to be paid.
But then she goes on to say...
I don't expect my partner to pay for them because it's my fault for
literally,
getting the fine.
That's why it's princess treatment.
No, it's not princess treatment.
I just think some of these videos like have enraged me. That is so over the top. You should never.
This video is like a reaction to the bare minimum princess treatment trend, and you're going to get so angry by it.
These are things that my boyfriend does that would send a bare minimum boyfriend into orbit. First, we'll get the obvious ones out of the way. I have never once opened any car door, any door, held any bags. Even if we're valeting somewhere, he tells me, sit right there, handles valet, pays for the valet, comes around, gets me out of the car.
Different tax
and doesn't
bracket.
just open my doors and picks me up out of the car, which sounds a little extra, but he drives a really like tall car. I can't really get out. Another standard, I don't think I've ever paid for a single thing. We go out to dinner, drinks, sweet treats, shopping, all of that multiple times a week.
There's something like trad wife and conservative about it that really doesn't sit well with me.
Okay, I will say I don't like it feels icky to me that she's not like lifting a single finger.
Yeah.
Like that feels really like 1950s old school like car door romance. But with the actual princess treatment versus bare minimum trend, I actually really like this because I think it's a way of women, even though it's a joke, like it is a way of women saying like, this is the expectation and this is the bar that should be raised after fucking centuries of being mistreated, oppressed, assaulted. Like, it is a joke, but there are like some basic things that guys are just considering princess treatment. And it's like, these are normal basic things that you should, if you are in a healthy, loving relationship, just be doing for your partner.
Yes.
And it shouldn't be considered like princess treatment.
Yeah. I think if someone says like getting flowers for you is princess treatment, I'm like, no, I think that's actually a really nice, normal thing to do. If you can afford it, great. But some of those over-the-top things, and remember, those videos are going insane viral. The comments on that, right? Half of the time people are like, may this love find me. And then half of the people are like me, and they're like, what in the 1950s tarnation? Because I think that this whole trend kind of can slip really quickly into like enforcing traditional gender roles, and then it just flips the other way around. Because I see what you're saying, because I think a lot of people have had such poor relationships and have had such a hard time like being a woman and existing in this world. So then seeing something like that like rights it in a way and brings it back. But also,
I know what you're saying, because I'm not sure about I'm not sure about the examples that they're giving that is considered like her saying, I've got a 10-10 boyfriend, he pays for absolutely everything.
Yeah.
That kind of can borderline in dangerous
territory.
Coercive, controlling territory.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's a conversation that's worth having.
Yeah.
But we asked you on our Instagram at Triple J the Hookup what you thought. James said you should look for respect, communication, and passion instead of princess treatment. Bradley said social media makes it hard to keep up and it gets very overwhelming. I don't have the capacity to treat myself that way, so how can I show up for someone else in that way as well? Mental health will always come first.
See, that's a fair point. A lot of you did actually get in touch with us in the DMs to say that you did actually like this content and you did kind of feel like social media has improved your dating and relationships' lives and your expectations. Nix said that social media just highlights what I do and don't accept in relationships after past experiences, which is really interesting because we got this voice memo from Anita saying something similar.
There are good things about social media and the impact on dating. Like, there's a bunch of accounts who are educating women about the basic standards that they should expect, that they don't need to be treated like doormats, they're not expected to put out all of those things that maybe we were taught poorly growing up, and now that we're in that dating zone, that, you know, we can be taught self-respect and minimum expectations. I can appreciate that some people will think that maybe this is making us picky or whatnot, but I'd rather be single and happy than in a relationship with someone who treats me like shit.
That's what I was saying before. I feel like now a lot of women are going, I've experienced really shit past dating or relationships, or I've watched my mum or the women in my life and they've gone, this is the bar. It's a boundary they're putting in place. This is the bar. I'm either single or this is what I'm settling for. And I think that's fucking fair.
Yeah.
I think that's really fair.
And I think Anita brings up a good point by saying, like, I don't care if this seems picky.
Yeah.
And I think, like, when we did research on this, like, there were so many, like, what I would call, like, conservative articles and, like, fear-mongering. Basically, they love to be like, Gen Z, so picky. They never want to work. They're so, like, picky about who they date, and like that's why we have loneliness epidemics and blah blah blah. And it's like, oh, God forbid we have some fucking standards. Do you know what I mean? So I think like there's that to like consider as well. Belle also DM'd us and said social media helps give me ideas for date nights, but honestly the expectation is so high, and I think that's what we should get into, because overwhelmingly you guys were like, no, like this social media has cooked my expectations, especially because everything is so unrealistic, as we've mentioned. Larissa said social media is always trying to make everyone look like the perfect person that doesn't exist, and the same goes for relationships. It just sets people up for disappointment.
Yeah, and David said, I think they're unrealistic. We should think of dating as true unhealed people that are willing to love all the parts, even the bits that still need work. There's also the responsibility to communicate what you want in the relationship, or the manifesting in the world still won't bring you a mind reader, which is, such a valid point. The fact that we are only seeing the most polarizing content. We're seeing the best and the worst. We're seeing like a 2-minute clip about someone's relationship and not seeing the nuance and the mundane moments and the lows and the fighting and the struggles. But yeah, going back to that pressure thing, we did get this voice memo from Jimmy.
I think what we see online is a very unrealistic view of what a relationship should and shouldn't be. And especially when it comes to the previous episodes of the hookup, a lot of it has been about what young people are seeing and how we are being presented what love and what a relationship is. But yeah, I think it really gives an unrealistic standard. And I think I was really, really pressured when I was in a relationship with a I want to be loved loudly sort of person to do those things when that's not really me. I like to do small, thoughtful things that let you know that I think of you and that I listen and that I love you.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear from someone who's literally dated someone who was the love loudly and they just didn't mesh in that way. And I wonder, how much social media played into like that pressure as well. So let's get into this voice memo from Sam, who reckons social media kind of has ruined love for her.
I just feel like social media has completely warped what we expect from dating. It's like we're constantly seeing the curated love stories thrown in our face on TikTok and Instagram, and it starts to feel like that's what love is supposed to look like all the time. Anything less out of the picture. And even though like deep down I know that that's not what a real relationship is like, I can't seem to let myself feel anything real. Like I shut down the moment something starts to feel awkward or uncertain, or I just can't even get past the early stages of liking someone. I can't even approach them because I'm already embarrassed that it won't be perfect, that it'll be too much or not enough. It won't look like all the reels that I see. It won't look like the pictures. Won't look like the movies, I guess. That's what the media has done. It's just made us feel ashamed of anything less than picture perfect, ashamed of real connection, ashamed anything that doesn't start with a big bang, even if that spark can sometimes be rooted in chaos.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's actually really sad to hear.
I know.
It's really sad to hear.
You kind of don't expect how much it would affect somebody until you actually hear that and you're like, oh, wow, like this is real. Like people think about it like this.
They're struggling to even get past the first couple of dates because they're like, wow, this feels really boring, and you're not like down on one knee proposing and saying I love you.
Yeah, like not bombing me? Like
in what
am I doing? Yeah, exactly. It's funny as well because we got this voice memo from Orland talking about the bragging on social media, and I think what you said before, you and Orland 100% agree.
To be honest, I think it's problematic that people are now normalizing the use of social media as a tool to brag about their own partners, and in turn making others feel bad about their own respective partners. Understandably, everyone should have their own standards in their relationships, but showing off the fact that your partner does something great to you, whilst of course that's a good gesture, it shouldn't automatically be put on social media, as of course everyone knows that there's differing love languages, and sharing it on social media can come across as a way of just seeking attention rather than actually validating the love that you and your partner share.
Oh my God.
What do you think of that?
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
The thing is like there is so much stuff that I could post about how great my relationship is, or also the struggles and whatever, but I just choose not to. One, for privacy. I just think it's nice to, you don't have to fucking share every single thing that ever happens to you online. But I also think it's not, I don't know, I don't really appreciate people who constantly post about how amazing their partner is. I think that like, what are you achieving? Kind of like what Orland said, like other than just making people feel bad about maybe their own relationships. I'm not setting, if I was to post all of the really great stuff constantly, I'm not showing the whole picture. So it's like I'm creating this false narrative about my relationship that I don't want others to compare their own relationship to.
Well, it's like what we said before. Who is it for?
Who's it for?
Literally, who is it for?
Always to make other people jealous or to brag or maybe to fill a void or an insecurity in yourself about your relationship. Just fucking have these moments privately. But then at the same time, I also think that like if it's worth sharing some of these stories and sharing some of the great things that your partner is doing in order to encourage other women and other people to feel like they deserve that kind of love as well, then I also think that that's...
This is what I love about this topic.
It's like
it is so hard where you toe the line.
Yeah.
Like where do you draw the line on this? Like it is so difficult.
And socials will never be nuanced. Like absolutely never have the capacity to be nuanced in a way that like a book or a podcast can. So I think like you have some responsibility as someone posting on socials to think about how your content lands and what impact it'll have on the people that are consuming it.
Yes. Yeah, it's interesting because we had a few DMs about like how social media as well, like not only showing you all the good, but then when it obsessively shows you the bad. Jake sent us a DM about this saying, I think storytime content about bad dates has informed people's expectations of dating in general. I think like going back to what we were saying about like the post-romantic era, how everyone's really guarded, everyone's really hating dating at the moment and is very like scared to put themselves out there. When you constantly see this stuff in your feed, then I think you're going to go into every date and interaction looking for that red flag and looking for the worst in somebody. And we've talked about this before. Like you're very like glass half empty. I'm very glass half full.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people are like you though. And they will be looking for like every little tripwire, like every little hazard to be like, what's wrong with this person? Because I know, because I see on my social media, like dating right now is really bad. So this person is going to do something bad to me. And I think that in itself, like, that we could do a whole podcast on that itself.
100%.
But like that has cooked our expectations of dating for sure.
And like I've been continuously saying, it's like the polarizing, right? It's like it's making people be like all men are fucked or all women are fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
All of this is fucked and there's no point going out there and dating is fucked and cooked and blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. We also had a lot of people saying, of course, like social media is so inauthentic, as we've mentioned. I really liked this DM from Louisa saying, as a gay person, social media has made me feel like I have to act and identify as ultra gay to find someone. I don't want to fully speak on this as like I'm not part of the community, but I know a lot of my friends in the LGBTQIA plus community have sort of talked about how online, like queerness is so flamboyant. It's really out there. It's rainbows. It's like a lot. And obviously there are communities of people who are just like, don't necessarily like represent themselves in that way, in like a really out and loud, proud way. But a lot of it is like that. So it kind of does make sense to hear this DM and sort of go, oh yeah, maybe people do feel like this urge that they have to fit in a certain way that's portrayed online.
Or look a certain way.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yes, like that. Exactly. Like look a certain way, act a certain way, like have certain relationships. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like this may have come up with your chat with Chris Cheers about like being poly and it being like such a huge part of the queer community. And there's almost like a pressure to just be with multiple people all the time
and not want to be monogamous.
Yes, to not want to be monogamous and be open. And like it does feel interesting to hear this DM and be like, oh yeah, maybe people do feel influenced by what they're seeing and feeling like I have to be that.
Totally. And it's like we've been saying, like the mundane stuff doesn't do well. So it's like it is the most probably like charismatic, like interesting
main character energy
that does the best, or that will pop up in your feed, and that's what you have to compare yourself to. Also, we need to acknowledge the way the algorithms work. If you consume some content and you spend quite a bit watching it, you will consecutively and continuously get that same content. So
that's like me right now with ingrown toenail removal videos, and I won't elaborate. It's how I wind down before I go to bed.
Yeah,
and now I keep getting them.
Disgusting.
I know, it's fucked up.
That's fucking disgusting.
Someone will agree with me. Pimple popping, ingrown toenails, chiropractic, anyone?
No.
Crickets in the comments?
No.
So now I keep getting them.
No. That is disgusting. But I think that's like such a good example of like, if you're like, I'm only seeing one type of gay, maybe you're only watching one type of gay and the algorithm's just like continuously feeding that to you. Or like maybe you really liked May This Love Find Me content. Now all you're getting is May This Love Find Me content. So your expectations are like up here. Maybe you love Get Ready With Me, or you're like love the drama of the bad date story. You need to critically think about the content you're consuming and realize that you are the person that is helping perpetuate the stuff that you're continuously getting.
Yeah, and we had a lot of critical thinkers, do not worry about that, in the DMs. A lot of you obviously were like, it's a bit of both, swings and roundabouts, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Ruby says that you kind of need to take everything with a bit of grain of salt.
I think social media can be helpful with showcasing examples, expectations, and a variety of relationships and advice. But the key is to take them with a critical eye and consider these points away from the social media bubble, and to reflect on if these points and expectations are really what you want in a relationship, or if you're being driven by a fear of missing out on something. Remembering social media often manufactures these trends and ideas to make them seem more popular or widespread than they actually are. My main takeaway is having social media as a small element of inspiration and advice, but most has to come from trial and error and self-reflection on what you actually want when dating.
And we also got this voice memo from Joanna, which I think kind of sums up what I tried to say at the top of the episode really well.
I think social media just shows us that we all like to be loved in different ways, but at the same time, the way that algorithm works, we keep seeing the same frustrations from people over and over again, and it just streamlines everything into grouping us in ways that make it seem like for example, all straight women have the same sort of problems with straight men and vice versa, when in reality we are a lot more different than the algorithm makes us out to seem. It's tough to kind of conceptualize all the specific things that we're looking for in other people. So when we see it thrown at us, we're like, oh yeah, I guess I don't like that either. And then we all become kind of an angry mob when we are still individuals.
Yeah, that's what you were saying.
Yeah, like it's pretty easy to get into that mob mentality if you don't have a critical eye on those things. And yeah, sometimes you're getting shown things and you're like, oh yeah, that's bad. I don't like that either. And then suddenly...
And you're like, the world is fucked and everyone sucks and I hate dating and I'm never going to do it.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, I think it's like a combination of that. It's a combination as well of like what we've been saying, the algorithm not prioritizing the mundane moments, the everyday stuff, the stuff that doesn't like evoke extreme emotions or an extreme response from the people who were like scrolling and seeing it. That doesn't get prioritized and that doesn't go viral. And I think that we need to see more of that kind of content, like Ella sent us this DM that says the more gritty parts of relationships are underrepresented on socials. And I feel like there's going to be a push for that. I saw an article, I think it was on Days the other day, about people going back to the more OG Instagram aesthetic and the way that people used Instagram at the start.
Really?
Yeah, like Addison Rae just posting a photo of blurry flowers and like the way Justin Bieber's just continuously posting just random shit every single day all the time.
Oh my God, he does that. He does like 10 posts a day.
And I think we're so used to social media being so curated. Everyone's a content maker. Everyone's trying to sell themselves or sell their relationship or have a hot take or have an opinion. And I think people are getting exhausted by that. And there is this like craving of just like show us the real shit, but like not the polarizing real shit, but show us the mundane, everyday, realistic parts of your love lives. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that actually happens.
Yeah. I feel like this episode has been so fun because again, it's like little bits of, you know, each are helpful and good. Sometimes it can be really negative. Sometimes it can be good. I think it's like a work in progress. If you have any thoughts and opinions on this, like please let us know in the DMs. At Triple J The Hookup is where you can get in touch. And yeah, thank you to everyone who contributed to this episode. It's been really, really fun debating this. And
I know.
I don't think there's a clear cut answer.
I'm like, I don't know how, I feel even more confused.
Yeah, same.
But that's great. Just critically think. Don't, like, if you see something that makes you feel a really strong emotion, like unpack that a bit.
Yeah, think about that.
And yeah.
And the number one rule actually of the internet, I don't know if you know this, is don't post. Actually, like every time you think about it, you're like, don't.
If you're feeling really, really emotional about something, like maybe just like sit. That's what I think.
It's like don't go to the shops when you're hungry.
Yeah.
That kind of vibe.
Let's just sit on this, get some second
have a sleep, have a think about it.
Who's this for?
Who's this for?
Okay. All right. That's enough from us.
Bye, divas.
Right,
bye, princesses.
Bye.